Hello, everyone. Today I am here with Apeiropillar Productions. Um, is there anything you would like to say before we get started?
Yeah, hi everyone. It's Abysme from Apeiropillar Productions, and wanted to just thank Cabot for having me on.
My pleasure. Okay, we have two sets of questions for you. So we will go ahead and get started with the narrator questions.
Great.
How did you come up with your channel name?
The channel Apeiropillar is a co-creation of myself and my friend Runner. We met in high school and had plans to work on a number of creative projects ever since then. It was only recently, however, that we got around to actually making the channel. The name was mostly his idea. He narrowed it down to two ridiculously made up words that we both loved. And we ended up going with Apeiropillar, which is a caterpillar of infinite length. We thought it just sounded cool. Bisme is a screen name I created when I got into the game League of Legends back in 2009, and I had other handles on America and Instant Messenger and all that junk. But so I just wanted a new one. It's basically a modified version of an old Sanskrit word that I heard in a song from a band I liked. And when I stumbled upon creepypastas, I presented it as something I could contribute to the channel. And my fellow creators said, yeah, it's cool. Go ahead and do it. So yeah, I've been operating under Abysme ever since then.
How did your persona come to be?
The persona is kind of a fantasy version of myself to accompany my creative projects. The artwork for the avatar was done by a good friend of mine. When I asked for, just kind of went out on Facebook and said, "Hey, can anyone draw a version of me so I can put it up for my SoundCloud account when I was releasing music?" And I wanted the persona to be kind of an homage to H.P. Lovecraft, but kind of also dark and mysterious, and what I would look like in that context. So to me, Abysme is kind of a individual afflicted by obscure and powerful forces, and his only recourse is to share whatever he hears with the world. So whenever I'm narrating a story or putting vocals on a song, that's kind of me impersonating that persona essentially, and it's also just my handle for everything else.
What recording equipment and recording process do you use?
I record on an Audio Technica 2020 USB condenser mic, which I'm also using right now. I record with everyone's favorite free program, Audacity, and I do noise removal and compression and normalization in that. I master my vocals and produce most of the music in a digital audio workshop called Fruity Loops Studio, or FL Studio 12. And then I send it to my video editor, and he puts the actual videos together in Adobe Premiere.
Do you have any future plans for your channel?
I do. We have a lot, actually. Besides just continuing with the narrations, I'm hoping to include some more involved projects with original videos and original scripts written or co-written by me. I've got an ambitious idea in the works right now. Hopefully I can get that started soon, but I don't want to give anything away right now. I want to collaborate with other narrators. It's really, really enjoyable for me. I've been doing it for a bit now. As for the rest of the channel, it's also, we have animation and sketch comedy and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, I'll just continue with that.
How has narrating changed you and your life?
It's been a huge, huge benefit for me personally and creatively. Before Creepypastas, I was kind of just composing music for whatever skits we did, writing scripts, and then also writing songs on the side. All of that's a really big collaborative process with several people involved, and it's exhilarating. But the creepypastas, at least in the beginning, were just something I could do all by myself. I found them, recorded them, made the music, and edited everything myself. It broke me out of what I felt was a kind of a creative slump and forced me to learn a lot of techniques and skills I didn't realize I could actually do. Eventually, our main editor, Bandsaw Bob, who does and has done the video editing for a long time now, and he's very, very good at it. He started working on the creepypastas too and turned them into kind of a more dynamic looking video and narration. But it's still content that I just greatly enjoy making it and producing it. I have a lot of personal say in the creativity, and that's really nice to be able to create something from start to finish that people enjoy. As for changing my life, it's helped me network online to others in the creepypasta community, like authors, narrators, musicians, and just fans. And it's introduced me to these very talented and creative people who I really like interacting with. And there's just, there's little in life I enjoy more than working with others to make something entertaining, if it's my friends or, other people that I've met.
Why did you start narrating?
The money. I'm kidding. I don't make anything off of it. I would not even have considered narrating if someone hadn't listened to a different narrator with me and said, "Hey, you could do that. You should try." And I thought about it for a while, and I thought it was a really cool idea, and so I just tried it. And it's never something I would have considered falling into at any point, but I did, and it just turned out that I super enjoyed it. I started because I wanted to, see if I could not only do the narrations well, but kind of make something unique out of them. There's a lot of narrators out there, and it can be difficult to stand out. So I decided to make them a bit more unique by producing my own music for it, which I hope adds just kind of an element of personality and specialness to it. There's just a few episodes where I kind of reuse some things I've made, but other than that, like it's all just stuff I make specifically for that story, and it's something I'm really proud of.
What creepypasta do you want to narrate but are having trouble doing so?
There's two that come to mind. The first is Sons of Odin by Humboldt Lycanthrope. He's requested me to narrate it twice, and I really, really want to, but I also really want to collaborate on that one and bring other narrators onto it. For a story that long and that involved, it just takes a long time to coordinate and pull off. So I hope to get that started pretty soon here. The second is called The Secret Bar by Banning K 1979. When I first got into this, I put up a thread on the Creepypasta Wiki and said, hey, I'm new. Here's some of the stuff I've done. If you got any requests, I'd love to narrate it. And that was one of the first stories that was requested. I read it and I still love the story. But when I read it at the time, it was,
Girls.
oh,
Sorry about
doggies. Yeah. When it was requested of me at the time, I was still very new. I wasn't very confident in my abilities, and I wanted to do that story justice. So it's another one I would want to bring other narrators onto. So it will happen. I just need to find time for it and kind of coordinate a lot of people. But both of those stories I really like and really want to do.
What creepypasta has made an impact on your life?
That's a tough one. There's two that have had pretty big effects on me. The first is the Russian sleep experiment. It's the first narration I ever heard. And the narration was done by I Read Creepypastas. And that's kind of what got me into creepypastas in the first place. I was so scared by that story when I first heard it that I had to go listen to some ASMR videos to calm myself down afterwards. But it really impressed me. And so that's kind of what got me into looking into more of the creepypasta community. The one that's impacted me the most personally would probably have to be My Grandfather Suffered from Dementia by writer Josh. Outside of any context, that story is just so incredibly well written. It balances plot, description, suspense, and horror perfectly. It's what I wish I could write, and kind of what I consider to be the ideal creepypasta. I also read it when my grandmother was also suffering from dementia, so reading and ultimately narrating it was very, very cathartic and very healthy for me, and I'm just really grateful that he wrote that story.
What creepypasta will you not narrate?
There's a lot I won't narrate. Number one, the story has to be readable. If it's got too many grammatical errors or plot holes or anything, I won't narrate it just because it would be too difficult to actually speak the words to. It wouldn't come out naturally. Number two, I won't narrate anything with excessive gore. I've had a lot of stories suggested to me that are kind of just serial killer rampages with little in the way of plot or character development. And gore doesn't really bother me per se, But if it's just something like Saw or Hostel, where the point is just kind of to be sickened as opposed to scared, it's just boring to me, and it's even more boring to narrate. Thirdly, I won't narrate anything if it doesn't scare me or at least intrigue me. It doesn't have to be like an award-winning story, but it has to be something that I can put some believable emotion into. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm faking, and that's not what I'm doing this for. I've avoided narrating some of the more popular pastas, kind of like Jeff the Killer, probably to my detriment, but they just don't interest me. I respect the stories and the people that like them. More power to them. But I'm pretty selective in what stories I choose.
That is it for narrator questions. The next set of questions are to you as a writer. How did you come up with your pen name?
Same thing as the narrator name and all that. Just Abysme.
What creepypasta do you wish you had been the one to write?
This is a tough one. Like, there's so many good stories out there. Uh, if I had to choose right now, it would probably be The Chanting in the Woods. When I first heard that narration at like it was 1 in the morning or something, and I barely got any sleep, but the story is just so compelling and well paced, and I love how the setting is almost a character of its own because you always hear that chanting in the woods, and it's I don't know, that was such a good story. I loved it.
Who are your favorite creepypasta writers?
Um, there's a lot of them that are anonymous, unfortunately, that write really good stories. But I'll rattle off a few of the ones that I do know. There's Elliot Cowling, Humboldt Lycanthrope, writer Josh, Banning K, M. Pratt, Crazy Words, Cyan Writes, Doom Vroom, Shadow Swimmer, and Shadow Knight of the Lurking Shadows Brotherhood.
Where do you get your inspiration?
Mostly from what happens to me in real life. Each story I've written so far has been influenced from a job I've had or a person I've known or something someone has told me about in the real world. That's the main reason I don't write as frequently as others because life usually needs to happen to me first before I get inspired.
How has writing changed you and your life?
A lot like music, writing has given me a creative outlet. And I don't I work to live, I don't live to work. So being able to do something outside of my job, keeps me sane, keeps me happy. It's very rewarding.
Why did you start writing?
I started writing in general quite a long time ago. I was encouraged from a young age to do so, usually by my mom. So I mostly wrote poetry way back then. Most of it's lost, of course. But when I joined up with Apeiropillar, I started writing scripts, and eventually I moved on to creepypastas because the idea of writing something dark that could be shared and appreciated by others in a very kind of intensely close-knit and interactive community was a very attractive prospect. So it's been very rewarding to do that.
Which creepypasta are you most proud of writing?
That's another tough one. I'm proud of each story I put out so far. They each mean something different and special to me. Relief is probably my most popular one, simply because it got narrated by a few people. It's also generated the most hate that I've gotten on a story, but you get used to that. Relief hit on a lot of social issues that I wanted the reader to be affected by, and I think I achieved that.
What is the earliest story you remember writing?
I remember trying to write a space opera ages ago. Like I wrote basically 2 seasons worth, and I didn't know what I was doing with it because it started out comedic, but then it got super dramatic and emotional because I kind of just wanted to change the characters. So it's lost. I don't know where it went. That's the first thing I wrote that I can remember.
What story are you currently working on?
Right now, I'm working on a kind of a found footage genre story. I don't want to give too much away because it's going to be a big project, but that's what I'm working on right now.
Where do you see yourself going with your writing career?
Um, Pipe dream is get proficient enough at writing stories or scripts that people, narrators notice, and kind of, my reputation for being a good writer gets out there. Then start collaborating with other writers like Vincent Cava or someone like that. That would be great because then hopefully I could start doing it for a living.
All right, and we are on the last question for you. What is a fun fact about yourself?
I didn't talk a lot until high school. I was a very, very quiet kid. So for the first basically half of my life, I just like didn't use my vocal cords. So now, even right now, this extended conversation kind of hurts my throat. So whenever I narrate, I always like lose my voice, and I just thought that was really funny that I would try to make a second job essentially out of talking a lot. But yeah, that's a funny fact about myself.
Well, that is it for the questions. Is there anything you would like to say before we wrap this up?
Um, Thanks everyone for listening. If you're on the live stream right now, thank you very much. If you're listening after it's recorded, thank you too. Please go check out Apeiropillar Productions in the description below. We've got a lot of funny and scary stuff there, and we would love to keep you entertained. Thank you very much.
Okay. And everyone, definitely go check them out, subscribe, like, comment, and show love and support. And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
And I guess that's it for now. So bye, everyone.
Bye.